Hello, and welcome to a new Reference Wednesday video. First and foremost, as usual, I want to emphasize the fact that this series was created by Ahmed Aldoori, under the hashtag RefWed. You should go watch his videos right now, and I will link his last RefWed video at the end of this video. Once again, I want to thank him for letting people borrow his idea of a video series, such as Cosmic Spectrum Art or myself, amongst many others. Anyway, this week, I used 3 references outside of Graphit Studio. I just typed in Pinterest searching for T-Rex, heavily inspired by some of Drawing with Waffle's last videos. One where she drew a bunch of dinosaurs, and the other where she focused on a Stegosaurus. I don't know if she was inspired by the Reference Wednesday series from Ahmed Aldoori, and twisted this idea in her own way, but I feel a connection between these two types of videos. I stumbled across the Wikipedia article about the T-Rex, and I recommend you to read it if you're interested in this species. And right now I'll be reading some extracts of this article, as highlights of some interesting facts about the T-Rex. Tyrannosaurus is a genus of tyrannosaurid theropod dinosaur. The species Tyrannosaurus rex, often called T-Rex, is one of the best represented of these large theropods. Tyrannosaurus lived throughout what is now Western North America, on what was then an island continent known as Laramidia. Tyrannosaurus had a much wider range than other tyrannosaurids. Fossils are found in a variety of rock formations dating to the Maastrichtian age of the Upper Cretaceous period, 68 to 66 million years ago. It was the last known member of the tyrannosaurids and among the last non-avian dinosaurs to exist before the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event. Like other tyrannosaurids, Tyrannosaurus was a bipedal carnivore with a massive skull balanced by a long, heavy tail. Relative to its large and powerful hind limbs, the forelimbs of Tyrannosaurus were short but unusually powerful for their size, and they had 2 claw digits. The most complete specimen measures up to 12.3 meters in length, though T-Rex could grow to lengths of over 12.3 m, up to 3.96 m tall at the hips, and according to most modern estimates 8.4 tons to 14 tons in weight. Although other theropods rivaled or exceeded Tyrannosaurus rex in size, it is still among the largest known land predators and is estimated to have exerted the strongest bite force among all terrestrial animals. By far the largest carnivore in its environment, Tyrannosaurus rex was most likely an apex predator, preying upon hadrosaurs, juvenile armored herbivores like ceratopsians and ankylosaurs, and possibly sauropods. Some experts have suggested the dinosaur was primarily a scavenger. The question of whether Tyrannosaurus was an apex predator or a pure scavenger was among the longest debates in paleontology. Most paleontologists today accept that Tyrannosaurus was both an active predator and a scavenger. Specimens of Tyrannosaurus rex include some that are nearly complete skeletons. Soft tissue and proteins have been reported in at least one of these specimens. The abundance of fossil material has allowed significant research into many aspects of its biology, including its life history and biomechanics. The feeding habits, physiology, and potential speed of Tyrannosaurus rex are a few subjects of debate. Its taxonomy is also controversial, as some scientists consider Tarbosaurus batar from Asia to be a second Tyrannosaurus species, while others maintain Tarbosaurus is a separate genus. Several other genera of North American tyrannosaurids have also been synonymized with Tyrannosaurus. As the archetypal theropod, Tyrannosaurus has been one of the best-known dinosaurs since the early 20th century and has been featured in film, advertising, postal stamps, and many other media. The discovery of the first T-Rex skeleton is also interesting. Barnum Brown, assistant curator of the American Museum of Natural History, found the first partial skeleton of T-Rex in eastern Wyoming in 1900. Brown found another partial skeleton in the Hell Creek Formation in Montana in 1902, comprising approximately 34 fossilized bones. Writing at the time, Brown said quarry number 1 contains the femur, pubis, humerus, 3 vertebrae, and 2 undetermined bones of a large carnivorous dinosaur not described by Marsh. I have never seen anything like it from the Cretaceous. Henry Fairfield Osborn, president of the American Museum of Natural History, named the second skeleton T-Rex in 1905. The generic name is derived from the Greek words tyrannos, meaning tyrant, and sauros, meaning lizard. Osborn used the Latin word rex, meaning king, for the specific name. The full binomial therefore translates to tyrant lizard the king or king tyrant lizard, emphasizing the animal's size and perceived dominance over other species of the time. Osborn named the other specimen Dinosaurus imperiosus in a paper in 1905. In 1906, Osborn recognized that the two skeletons were from the same species and selected Tyrannosaurus as the preferred name. The original Dinosaurus material resides in the collections of the Natural History Museum, London. In 1941, the T-Rex type specimen was sold to the Carnegie Museum of Natural History in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for $7,000. Dinosaurus would later be honored by the 2018 description of another species of Tyrannosaurid by Andrew MacDonald and colleagues, Dinomotor Dinostees, whose name was chosen in reference to the 1905 name, as it had been a childhood favorite of MacDonald's. From the 1910s through the end of the 1950s, Barnum's discoveries remained the only specimens of Tyrannosaurus, as the Great Depression and wars kept many paleontologists out of the field. According to studies published in 2021 by Charles Marshall and others, the total population of adult Tyrannosaurus at any given time was perhaps 20,000 individuals, with computer estimations also suggesting a total population no lower than 1,300 and no higher than 328,000. The authors themselves suggest that the estimate of 20,000 individuals is probably lower than what should be expected, especially when factoring in that disease pandemics could easily wipe out such a small population. Over the span of the genus existence, it is estimated that there were about 127,000 generations and that this added up to a total of roughly 2.5 billion animals until their extinction. In the same paper, it is suggested that in a population of Tyrannosaurus adults numbering 20,000, the amount of individuals living in an area the size of California could be as high as 3,800 animals, while an area the size of Washington, D.C. could support a population of only 2 adult Tyrannosaurus. The study does not take into account the amount of juvenile animals in the genus present in this population estimate due to their occupation of a different niche than the adults, and thus it is likely the total population was much higher when accounting for this factor. Simultaneously, studies of living carnivores suggest that some predator populations are higher in density than others of similar weight, such as jaguars and hyenas, which are similar in weight but have vastly differing population densities. Lastly, the study suggests that in most cases, only 1 in 80 million Tyrannosaurus would become fossilized, while the chances were likely as high as 1 in every 16,000 of an individual becoming fossilized in areas that had more dense populations. Anyway, I want to thank once again Ahmed Aldoori to have started his Reference Wednesday series, and to let people borrow this idea. And as usual, I hope you liked this video, and I wish you a good day, a great evening or a good night, whenever and wherever you're watching this video. Bye.